Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Sports Vault. Jersey Joe Archino back here, and I think when you look at the way the NBA has panned out, I can't tell you how many times I've been in this same booth and said how I think it's so easy to see that the Golden State Warriors are just a cut above the rest. And I think after you see their win last night against the San Antonio Spurs, 120-90, one of the most anticipated matchups so far this season, I think that case has been advanced even further. Right now, they're just leaping bounds better than anybody else. You look at the last 8 days, beating the Cleveland Cavaliers 132-98. The Golden State Warriors then defeating the Chicago Bulls 125-94, and that all is tipped off once again by defeating the second best team in the NBA, the San Antonio Spurs, 120-90. And I think you could see in that game very easily, and Greg Popovich said this in his to the media after. The aggressiveness of the Golden State Warriors is something that is so difficult to counter. He said it was a game between men and boys last night, and I think right away that's what really hit you. The pace and the speed and the aggressiveness of the Warriors diving for loose balls. I mean, they're up by 20 points, and they're diving for every loose ball. The effort, no matter what, is there. And as a head, that stems from the message that the head coach preaches to his team. Steve Kerr is as good as it gets. I mean, I think it's really hard to imagine that the Warriors could get even better than what they were under Walton, stepping in and filling in for Steve Kerr. But I thought that they would get even better upon the return of Steve Kerr because, again, this is a guy who had a full season with them. This is his team. Walton stepped in for him, but he's still coaching Steve Kerr's team. Steve Kerr's identity and blueprint and thumbprint are on this team, and when he's back, I think that familiarity, that comfort, meshing together, it just gets even easier, which for a team like this that moves the ball better than anybody and have spacing better than anybody, that is scary to think about. But Golden State is just going to continue to skyrocket from here. At the beginning of the season, I thought the Cleveland Cavaliers were going to win the NBA title. I thought it was going to be kind of like LeBron's first go-around in Miami. He loses his first year, kind of gets a feel. Year two, everything hits together. They find a way to get it done. But I just don't see how you could rationally watch the NBA and the way things have gone. And I know people say that the playoffs are a different story, and they are. But the Golden State Warriors are just a cut above the rest. It's not that complicated. The eye test tells you what you need to know, and you could see very easily. They're not the best defensive team in the NBA, but those three teams I just read you, the Cavs, the Bulls, and the Spurs, are probably the three best defensive teams in basketball when they're at their best. The fact that they so effortlessly put up 132, 125, and 120 shows that the better offense it dismantles that tremendous defense. And I know the Spurs were missing Tim Duncan in this game, but that game was very telling. Greg Popovich is as smart as they come. He tried to speed down the tempo of the Warriors by calling timeouts whenever they were really meshing, and really at their full speed. But that just doesn't work because it slows them down for a minute, yeah, but then they start hitting their shots and they just get into their full groove. Some other stats, I mean, ESPN's done such a good job covering the Warriors this season, giving you jaw-dropping stats night after night. Stephen Curry with his 37 points through 3 quarters last night. Now, here's the amazing thing. Steph has played 40 games so far this season. He hasn't had to play 13 of those fourth quarters of those games that he's played. And I think, again, that is the case in point again last night. Some people say Klay Thompson has regressed a little bit. They've relied a lot more on Stephen Curry, which is true. But Stephen Curry is not playing a lot of these fourth quarters. They're building these leads so early in these games that his legs are getting rested. And I don't worry about a team like the Golden State Warriors getting tired and getting worn down because collectively this roster is very deep and collectively they're very young. And when a team like that goes on the road and has as much success as they've had, that's not something that you have to worry about. They've shown the ability night in, night out that the travel wherever they go doesn't affect them. them. I mean, the Cavs game, the Bulls game, the Spurs game, playing all these games, going back and forth on planes, it's difficult. Traveling in the NBA around this time of year when you're a Western Conference team, going and playing in a cold weather place, that's not easy to do, but they have made it look easy. There's no slowing down the Golden State Warriors right now. And just even more interesting things, I mean, you heard it last night. Tim Duncan was 56-10 throughout his career against the Golden State Warriors. And then we've kind of seen a seismic shift. It's what happens in all walks of life, all walks of sports. There are eras. The San Antonio Spurs had a super long run, and now I think it's time for the Golden State Warriors. And it all comes down to their depth. You have to always go back to the 2010 draft when they were able to draft Draymond Green, Harrison Barnes, and Festus Ezeli. Those were 3 picks that made contributions to this day. A lot of times you can't even name the second player NBA teams draft. The fact they hit them all and they all have made sizable contributions to their championship run, and to this day, that speaks volumes to that organization, to the scouting and development people that they have. Top to bottom, they do it right, the Golden State Warriors, and I think you're going to see it pay off again for them. I can't say anyone else is going to dethrone them. I think it'll be a rematch of last season, Cleveland against the Warriors, but Cleveland's got their own circumstances right now with a little bit of controversy after firing David Blatt, Tyronn Lue. It's difficult with a team like that to go up against a team. Nobody can slow down their pace. Nobody can put up their offensive efficiency. It's a very dynamic problem that they present that we really haven't seen many times in NBA history. When we look at the next 4 years, when it's all said and done, I really think you could see the Warriors taking 3 of these 4 titles, because that offense, sometimes you're at a different level at the right time. Everybody catches up to you eventually, but when you're above the rest, you see it a little bit in football sometimes with the up-tempo offenses when they kind of start to come in and nobody can stop it, and then they learn to stop it. I think it's similar to the Warriors, but their personnel is as much a problem that it presents as anything. So the Golden State Warriors, again last night, defeating the Spurs 120-90, just another case in point as to why they have taken the crown, and I think they'll defend it this season. But until we will see how it unfolds, Jersey Joe Archino here with the Sports Vault. We will be back very soon.